Okay. All right. So with the help of Hashem,
Con la ayuda de Hashem,
so I want to do a story here on the story of the tower on the tower that we have.
quiero dar un shur sobre los acontecimientos en la torre, torre de Babel.
And it's the age of okay, and maybe this is called the dispersal. Anyhow,
Este acontecimiento es conocido como la dispersión.
and okay, so you have the Torah. It tells us about the 70 descendants of Noah,
Entonces la Torá nos menciona los 70 descendientes de Noah.
okay, and so when we know when these 70 is the roots of the 70 nations, and
Y sabemos entonces que estas personas son la raíz de 70 naciones.
and what stands out, one thing that stands out is it is Nimrod. It tells us some things about Nimrod.
Y destaca ciertos aspectos de Nimrod.
This is one thing that stands out over here because nobody else. It doesn't say too much about anybody else.
Y esto realmente es relevante porque no se da tanta información de ningún otro.
And so it tells you. I mean, the point is that he's influential on the whole on this generation.
El punto es que Nimrod es muy influyente en su generación.
And we know in the stories that he's like Avram Avinu is kind of countering against Nimrod. Nimrod and Avram Avinu are like enemies.
En su contraparte es Abraham Rabino. Es como que estos dos personajes se encuentran siendo enemigos.
And all right, but that comes later in the story.
Pero esto va a venir luego en la historia.
All right. So now here in the verses it says he was a mighty man before God, before Hashem.
Pero aquí en los versos nos dice que él era un hombre poderoso delante de Hashem.
Okay, and so I'm gonna go with not the explanation more in the line of Hirsch and a few and some others.
Entonces yo me voy a ir más que en la línea de las explicaciones de Rav Hirsch y otros.
Right over here, I think uh, some explain. I think Rabbi Evan Ezra explains.
Rav Eben Ezer explica,
It says here before Hashem. He was. So what does it mean? Why does it say before Hashem?
¿qué dice delante de Hashem?
So really, he he, according to what I understand, there he acted as if he was kind of like helping Hashem, something like that.
Eh, Es como si él estuviese ayudando a Hashem.
He acted as if he was helping Hashem.
Él actuaba como si le estuviese ayudando a Hashem.
So he that means he set himself up as like a religious leader or something.
O sea que él se postuló como un líder religioso.
And just that he tell everybody that if you want Hashem, I'll take care of it. You just bring me your money, your whatever, your whatever, and I'll make sure you Hashem will, I'll take care of it. Hashem will take care of it. You won't have any problems.
Entonces, él decía, si ustedes se quieren acercar a Hashem, ustedes solo traigan acá sus bienes, sus valores, sus cosas de valor, y yo me encargo.
Okay, obviously he was able to. So he was a hunter. That means he trapped people into believing in him.
Él era un cazador. Él atrapó a la gente haciéndolas creer en él.
Right, and then he's considered the first person that got a kingship because he had.
Él es considerado como el primero en hacerse de un reino.
Because it says here in the verse, he had these people, this number of people were following him.
Porque dice aquí que él tenía este gran número de seguidores.
It lists it in the verse.
Sí lo enumera o lo enlista, lo menciona el verso.
Right, and the verse points out that the people who are following him were all from Chum.
Y Rav Hirsch nos señala que la mayor parte de sus seguidores venían
Not Major, all of
de...
them, all the people that were following him. I
ah,
didn't say Major. I said all the people
no,
that were
no
following him.
dijo mayoría, dijo todos. Todos sus seguidores procedían de Hem.
And
Ah,
he himself is from Chum also.
y él mismo descendía de la rama de Ham, el hijo de Noah.
Right, and it says that
Ham.
Shur or the Syrians they ran away. It says.
Dice allí que Ashur, que de donde vienen los asirios, ellos se fueron, se huyeron.
Okay, so Shur I think is from Shem.
Así es de que creo yo que Ashur es de Shem.
So they wouldn't put up with this, buy into this whole thing.
Ellos no iban a comprarle su mentira, a tragarse su rollo.
Right, because we said the other day that Shem on this is more has it more instinctively closer to Hashem and understands the relationship.
Ya habíamos dicho otro día que Shem entiende mejor a Hashem.
It's more right.
Instintivamente,
Instinctively understands the relationship better.
in- instintivamente entiende mejor su relación con Hashem.
Right, so the other ones, the other people could be fooled really more.
Los otros realmente podrían ser más fácilmente engañados.
Right, but over here, but Nimrod was really only he's only able to trap from Chum in this.
Pero Nimrod solo podía entender de Ham.
He was only able to trap Chum.
Ah, Nimrod solo pudo atrapar a los descendientes de Ham.
Okay. All right, and it says explicitly in the word in the verse that the nations came out of these seven.
Y así lo dice explícitamente aquí en la escritura, que las naciones salieron de estas personas.
Okay. All right, so then it starts the story of the tower here.
Y luego ya inicia la historia de la torre aquí.
All right, and first thing it says is they were traveling east. It says they traveled away from the east.
La primera cosa que se nos dice es que viajaron lejos del este.
Right, and so this seems to mean one thing is that in the east, Rabbi Hirsch says the east is the influence of the descent of the children of Noach and Shem and the people that and those people.
El este son los descendientes de Shem.
And descendants of the older, and so therefore they ran away from that place. They went away from there.
Entonces, por esa razón, ellos huyeron de ese lugar.
And they wanted to get away from their influence.
Ellos querían alejarse de su influencia.
And the sages say it's a hint that they went away from Hashem. That's what the sages say.
Los sabios dicen que ellos realmente huyeron de Hashem.
It's a hint that they moved away from Hashem.
Es una indicación o una pista que se hayan movido lejos de Hashem.
All right. Then it says that they have some ideas about building. They said, let us make, the making bricks. They have an idea of making bricks.
Tuvieron la idea de fabricar ladrillos.
Okay, it seems like they did it. They did something that unusual. They did it in an unusual way.
Y lo hicieron en una forma inusual.
Right, and the Rav Hirsch explains this thing.
Rav Hirsch explica esto.
He says that until then, when people built houses, they excavated rocks and they built houses.
Hasta entonces, cuando las personas construían casas, ellos escargaban y sacaban rocas y con esas rocas construían sus casas.
Right, and maybe if they needed something to stick the rock together, so they put some mud in there.
Y si necesitaban que las rocas quedaran ensambladas, ponían algo de lodo ahí.
And but they over here they had a new insight is to make bricks. That was the insight.
Pero acá menciona que tuvieron la idea de hacer ladrillos.
So the new insight here is to make bricks. They would make bricks themselves out of cement.
Entonces acá lo novedoso es que ellos hacían ladrillos hechos con cemento.
Okay, and then they said, let's make a city and a tower.
Y luego dijeron, hagamos una ciudad, hagamos una torre,
A skyscraper
un rascacielos.
is the first skyscraper.
Ese fue el primer rascacielos.
And then it says, we will make a name for ourselves.
Y luego dijeron, hagamos un nombre para nosotros.
Right. Because the danger is, it says in the verse there, the danger, what they were worried about is they'll be spread out all over. That's the terrorism.
Su preocupación, su motivación es que fueran esparcidos.
Okay, and then so Hashem saw this and he wasn't happy,
Hashem lo miró y no le agradó.
and he felt that if he let things stay as they were, they're going to pull the world in the wrong direction.
Sintió que si dejaba que las cosas siguieran como estaban, iban a jalarse en una dirección errónea, mala.
Right. So then the solution is 2 points. One is to spread them all out. That's 1 point.
Entonces la solución sería ya sea esparcirlos,
And another thing is they shouldn't understand each other. They shouldn't be able to communicate with each other.
la otra que no pudieran comunicarse entre ellos.
Okay. And this it seems to be. It says in the verse there that this is a solution, and whatever this made it that this direction they wanted to go would stop, and that's it.
Y entonces esta era la solución para evitar que siguieran en la dirección que iban, que se dirigían.
It says in the verse that it didn't. That it's they this whatever. This was the solution.
Ahí lo dice así en el verso, que esta fue la solución.
Okay. All right. So this is kind of the story, and
Entonces esto es en sí la historia.
and in the medrash you have over there in the medrash it says.
Lo tenemos ahí en el Midrash.
Says there
Ahí dice,
there were 3 groups there by the tower.
había 3 grupos en la torre.
One says, "Let's go up. We'll go up. We'll build a tower into the heavens, and we'll go live. We'll move away from the earth, and we'll go live in the heavens from now."
Había quien dijera, "Ah, vayamos por la torre hacia arriba y allá viviremos."
Another one says, We'll make war with Hashem."
Y otros decían, hagamos guerra con Hashem.
I think in other measures it says they shot arrows and they came back. They came back bloody.
Creo que en el Midrash dice que ellos lanzaron sus flechas y regresaron con sangre.
So they imagined they were succeeding.
Así es de que ellos imaginaron que estaban teniendo éxito.
The third group says, this will be we'll do idol worship."
Y otro grupo dijo, hagamos idolatría.
Right, and it says that the punishment of each group was according to their crime.
Entonces dice que el castigo para cada grupo fue de acuerdo a su crimen.
That the one that said go up to heaven,
Quien dijo,
let's go live up in heaven.
vayamos a vivir en el cielo.
So Hashem spread them. That for those Hashem spread all over.
A esos Hashem los repartió por todo el mundo.
The ones that wanted to make war,
Los que querían hacer guerra,
Hashem turned them into monkeys.
a esos Hashem los convirtió en monos, changos.
And the ones that said idol worship,
Y los que dijeron idolatría,
Hashem switched over the language.
a ellos Hashem les cambió el idioma.
Right. No, no, I don't. I'm not saying that means that Hashem did all these. Okay, that means Hashem changed the language for everybody, not just for them.
Bueno, Hashem cambió el lenguaje para todos, no solo para este
Right.
tercer
But
grupo.
they would, but these people were the reason why Hashem did it.
Pero estos fueron los causantes de que Hashem lo hiciera.
Okay, that's how I understand it because we see that all the 70 nations they have a different language. That we could understand that.
Porque de aquí entendemos que por esta
No,
razón
not a
las
key.
70,
Again, say it
no,
again, say it again,
a ver,
again. Because
bueno,
because we see
porque vemos
that all the 70 nations have a different language.
que todas las 70 naciones tienen diferentes idiomas.
Okay, so that's a sign that everybody's language has changed.
Esa es una señal de que el lenguaje de todos fue cambiado.
Okay. All right. So now we'll go try to see to learn from her first. I mean, what was their? We try to see what was their crime. I mean, what was their really? What did they do that was so bad? What was really the crime there?
Bueno, de Rav Hirsch vamos a estudiar cuál fue realmente su crimen, qué cosa hicieron tan mal.
Okay. All right. I mean, because in the verse, it doesn't really say anything, just that they wanted to build a tower. So,
Porque en el verso realmente no nos dice mucho, solo que querían construir una torre.
right, and so why? But then in the Medrash, all of a sudden they were doing idol worship, whatever.
Y entonces en el Midrash tenemos que de repente aparece que estaban viviendo como idólatras, haciendo idolatría.
Vivienda. They were doing idol worship. I don't understand. They were doing idol
Estaban
worship.
haciendo idolatría.
That's what it seems to say in
No,
the Medrash, or their intention was for idol worship.
eso es lo que dice en el Midrash. Su intención era idolatría.
And where do we see really in the verses like this?
¿Dónde vemos realmente esto en los versículos?
All right. So the verse underlines really he says that look to what the goal was. That's the thing to underline here.
Bueno, Rav Hirsch nos dice, miren, ¿cuál era la meta?
Right? And they said, let us make a name for ourselves.
Ellos dijeron, vamos, hagamos un nombre para nosotros.
Okay, so all these groups, maybe they had different things in mind, maybe one part like this, one part like that, whatever it was.
Entonces, estos grupos diferentes tenían diferentes cosas en mente.
They had different things in mind. It got cut off there.
Tenían diferentes cosas en mente. Unos buscaban algo, otros otra cosa.
Well, they had different things in mind, and
En-
but one thing this thing they had in common.
Pero esto lo tenían en común.
Let us make a name for ourselves.
Hagamos un nombre para nosotros.
So what is it? What does it mean? So what's implied in this thing? Make a name for ourselves.
Entonces, ¿qué implica esto de hacer un nombre para nosotros?
He says ourselves opposes two things. I mean,
Dice, no, nosotros nos oponemos a dos cosas.
the term ourselves, this that they said ourselves opposes two things.
Cuando dice allí que nos oponemos son a dos cosas.
What? Ourselves. They said this word ourselves. The word ourselves means
Nos,
nosotros.
nosotros mismos.
When they said this word, that means they were opposed to two things.
Cuando ellos se expresaron así, ellos querían decir dos cosas.
No, that means they are opposed to two things. Forgive me.
Bueno, quería decir que se oponían a dos cosas.
Thank you. One ourselves opposes, number one is opposes Hashem.
Número uno, se oponían a Hashem.
It doesn't say we're doing something for Hashem, we're doing for us.
No decían que lo estaban haciendo para Hashem, sino para ellos.
And the second thing ourselves opposes is individual a human being.
La segunda cosa a oponerse era a los seres humanos, al ser humano,
Or individual human being.
como individuo.
Not como,
Al ser humano,
not a
el ser
ceremony, a
humano,
human being, a individual human being.
un ser humano individual.
Very good, excellent, excellent. Okay, because our opposes an individual. Ourselves.
Entonces, nosotros nos oponemos al individuo.
The term ourselves opposes an individual.
El término nosotros mismos se opone a un individuo.
Right. And so that means that, so really the purpose of Hashem for the world is
Entonces, realmente el propósito de Hashem para el mundo
really for the individual.
es para el individuo.
So we said this a lot of times that this is an important thing, that the world, everything in the world really is here to serve the individual.
Y eso lo hemos destacado muchas veces, que el propósito de todo lo que hay, lo que existe, lo que tenemos, es para el individuo.
And that the point is that a person should grow and accomplish the purpose that Hashem wants from a person.
Y el propósito es que la persona crezca y alcance el propósito de Hashem.
Right. And now, a person maybe we have in chapter the Father says, if I'm for myself, what am I? It says in chapter the Father.
Allá en los capítulos de los padres tenemos esta enseñanza de que si yo soy por mí, ¿qué soy?
So that means that you you can't you as an individual you need the help, you need other people's help.
Eso quiere decir que nosotros, como individuos, necesitamos la ayuda de otros.
Right, and this we were talking about, but and so if you think you can do everything yourself, then you can't you're not going to succeed.
Si uno piensa que lo puede hacer todo por sí mismo, no va a tener éxito.
Right, and overall, right, and but this is the overall goal of the world is this anyhow.
Pero en manera general, esta es la meta del mundo,
To the individual,
del individuo.
right, and the individual maybe needs a community or whatever, or really maybe even everybody in the world to help them with that goal.
Pero el individuo realmente necesita la ayuda de la aldea o del mundo entero para alcanzar su meta.
Okay, so if you can have a community that has this with this intention, so then it could be a good community.
Uno puede tener una comunidad con esta buena intención y sea una buena comunidad.
Right. Just that over here they switched into a different intention here.
Solo que aquí ellos cambiaron a una diferente intención.
Right. Instead of serving individual, they decided that they're going to serve their community as a whole. They're going to serve this.
Entonces ellos decidieron, en lugar de servir al individuo, servir a la comunidad entera.
Right. And so then they looked at this as if at this entity as if this is worthy of being served. I mean,
Vieron a esta entidad como digna de ser servida.
and that's this thing of let us make a name for ourselves.
Y esto es a lo que se refiere, hagamos un nombre para nosotros.
Okay, and right, and so this tower is symbolizes this something like this purpose.
Así es de que esta torre era el símbolo de este propósito.
Right. I would say I'm saying that like Robbie has this thing where he says
Y yo digo, como Ralph Wolby dice aquí,
he has this thing where he says that he compares like a human being is compared to a very tall building.
él dice que un ser humano puede ser comparado con un edificio muy alto.
And each floor in the building is like a higher dimension of of a person.
Y cada piso en ese edificio puede ser comparado con una versión más elevada de esa persona,
A higher dimension of their potential.
una dimensión más alta para su potencial.
And right. So you can have so this is really a picture of the spiritual potential of a person.
Entonces, esto es realmente el potencial espiritual de la persona.
a picture, an image of the spiritual potential of a person.
Un retrato, una imagen del potencial espiritual de la persona.
Right. And the thing is that they, with their tower here,
Y la cosa es que ellos con su torre aquí,
right. So they didn't build a tower with the intention of this potential.
ellos no construyeron esta torre con la intención de este potencial.
Right. They wanted to make a tower of Nasal no shame. Let us make a name for ourselves.
Ellos hicieron la torre con la intención de hacer un nombre para sí mismos.
So that means that a person could also develop themselves with this intention.
Quiere decir que la persona también se puede desarrollar con esta intención.
Okay, and you have that in that's so in the world also you have development of man.
En el mundo también encontramos el desarrollo de los hombres.
Whatever you have colleges, they're developing people for whatever.
Mm, Sea que hablemos de los colegios que están desarrollando, ayudando a desarrollar a las
Right.
gentes.
But what are they developing people for? They're also developing people to make for them, to make a name for themselves.
Pero, ¿para qué propósito los están desarrollando? Pues también para hacerse nombre para sí mismos.
Okay, because you have let's say the gyms where people go to for weight, exercise and stuff like that.
Tenemos el ejemplo de los gimnasios, donde la gente recurre para hacer ejercicio.
Right, and over there also the whole thing is to make a name for themselves. They can look in the mirror or take pictures, and people can say, "Look at me," and "Look at you," and this.
Y allá también el propósito es para tomar fotos y decir, mírame a mí, mírate a ti.
And so that's also so you have development of man, but what is the purpose of this development?
Entonces, también tenemos el desarrollo del hombre, pero ¿cuál es el propósito de ese desarrollo?
Right, and so this is this national shame development.
Entonces, esto no es, it's not in the name of Hashem, or what did
This
you say?
is the nasa lanu shame development. Let us make a name for
Es,
ourselves development.
este es el desarrollo de este mecanismo de hagamos un nombre para nosotros mismos.
Right, and right. More so. You had it with the communists. You had it like this.
Y fue claro verlo con el comunismo,
Because the whole thing is that the individual is nothing, and only it's only worthwhile to serve. You could sacrifice everybody. You sacrifice the individual for the sake of the public.
porque el individuo no vale, todo se sacrifica en favor de, you sacrifice everything in the
For the sake
name
of the
of,
public. For the sake of the
ah,
public.
para el beneficio del público.
Right, and right. So the verse says anyhow that the result of such things, whenever you have such a thing,
Rav Hirsch dice que cuando tenemos tales cosas,
so really what happens is that the language is broken.
realmente lo que sucede es que el lenguaje se quiebra.
That means somehow that you know that at first they come together and it looks good because everybody's together.
Al principio se ve bien, parece que está bien porque todos están
They have
unidos.
one purpose. Let's build this tower, whatever.
Tienen un solo propósito. Construyamos esta torre.
Right, but really, we even here it says that they really had three different intentions here.
Pero realmente aquí ellos tenían tres intenciones distintas.
That's what it says in the Medrash. I mean,
Esto es lo que nos dice el Midrash.
so therefore, a verse says in the end they can't. Their unity is not going to last
Por eso es que Rav Hirsch aquí dice que su unidad no persistirá, no va a durar,
because what's going to happen is they're not going to be able to understand each other.
porque lo que sucederá es que no van a ser capaces de entenderse el uno al otro.
Okay, people, because the people that say they want to go into heaven, that means that they don't want to deal with the trouble of taking care of this world.
La gente que dice que quiere ir al cielo es porque no quieren involucrarse con los problemas de este mundo.
Right, and idolatry is more they're involved in trying to gain power for themselves, whatever.
Y la idolatría está más bien ocupada o interesada de adquirir poder para sí mismo.
And what was the third group?
¿Y cuál fue el
What was
tercer
the third
grupo?
one? The third
¿The
one.
monkeys?
What? Oh,
¿The
they wanted to fight
monkeys?
with Hashem. They wanted to fight with Hashem.
Bueno, los monos querían pelear contra Hashem.
Right, and fighting with Hashem is more. That's more the most difficult to understand. What do they want to accomplish fighting with Hashem? That's hard to understand.
Y esa es la más difícil de entender. ¿Qué querrían lograr al pelear contra
Right,
Hashem?
right. The funny thing is that now in our days we do understand this
Ujú. Lo chistoso del asunto es que en nuestros días sí podemos entender eso,
because I mean the whole world is full of this actually. I mean,
porque realmente el mundo entero sí está lleno de esto.
they came up with the world denied Hashem's existence. I mean, the world did that.
El mundo negó la existencia de Hashem, lo
And then,
hizo.
and then they got ahead that they want to obliterate all religion from the world. I mean, because it's no good. It's harming
Y
the
luego
world. Right?
llegaron al punto de querer borrar todo indicio de religión de parte del mundo.
Right. And we see what was the results. And they claim that the reason what they want to do is because they want to advance civilization. That's what their goal is. That's why they're doing it.
Ellos dicen quererlo hacer para elevar la meta de la civilización.
Right. So really, it's the opposite. They are reducing man. In reality, what happens is they're reducing man to animals to like monkeys.
Pero en realidad lo que están logrando es reducir a los hombres como si fueran monos.
Because look what happens in the world. The people they have all the ideas, but they're pulling man back to behave like monkeys.
Ellos tienen todas estas ideas, pero realmente ¿qué están haciendo? Están retrocediendo o haciendo que el hombre sea como el mono.
Right, and go figure that these same people claim that the man is descended from monkey. Go figure.
Y vayamos más adelante a averiguar que estas mismas gentes son las que dicen que el hombre desciende del mono.
Okay, so it's no surprise that they fall into behaving like monkeys.
Entonces no es de sorprendernos o de sorprenderse que ellos enseñen que descendemos del mono.
Okay, I think that's what we have for today. Yeah.
Bueno, creo que eso es lo que tenemos por ahora.
Right. I don't know if we covered it so good, but I tried. And that's
No sé si lo cubrimos muy bien, pero me esforcé. Eso traté.
oh, okay. And other than that, I want to say about the elections and all that. And,
Y aparte de esto, quiero decir sobre las
I
elecciones.
mean, about the elections, it appears at the moment that really that they can make a government from the religious parties and the right wing party.
Parece ser que pueden llegar a formar un gobierno entre los del lado religioso y los de derecha.
And even if it would come out like that, that the religious people in the government would be the majority.
Y aunque si llegase a ser que la gente religiosa llegase a ser la mayoría,
It never happened like this, and it never happened like this in the history of the country, like this, such a thing. I don't think
nunca ha pasado en la historia del país así.
that the majority of the government of the people in the government would be religious.
Que la mayoría de la gente en el gobierno fuera religiosa.
Right, but I don't see it happening so easily. It's not going to be, it's not going to go so, it's not going to happen so quickly. It's not going to be so easy. I don't see it.
Pero no veo que esto suceda tan fácilmente,
Because they're not religious, are always don't want, are afraid of the religious having too much power.
porque quienes no son religiosos siempre tienen miedo de que los religiosos lleguen a tener demasiado poder.
And so therefore they're going to make all kind of they're going to do all kind of things to all kind of reasons, excuses, all kind of things that it shouldn't be like this.
Y entonces harán o saldrán con montón de razones o excusas para que no sea así.
Right. But so what will happen, we'll see already. We'll see already what will happen, who knows.
Pero ya veremos qué sucede.
Right. And like we say in the Tehillim, it's worthwhile to pray.
Pero así como digo del Tejilim, vale la pena rezar.
Right. And our prayers help a lot. I'm telling you, our prayers do a lot for the world. I'm telling you, we won't
Y
realize that.
yo les digo que nuestros rezos valen mucho, hacen, logran mucho.
Right, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Baditchev said the person doesn't realize how much the praise can affect.
Ese es Ifka
Rabbi Levi, Rabbi
Rabbi
Levi
Levi
Yitzchak
Yitzhak
of
Av
Bar
Ar
Ditch
It
Ditch
Dich
of.
Av. Oye,
That's where he's
Rabino
from.
dijo que bueno, es que menciona todo ese nombre que dijimos
And the
de dónde
person doesn't
viene.
realize how much their faith can affect.
Él dijo que las personas no se dan cuenta qué tanto logran sus rezos.
The person pray, they could change the whole world. Yeah.
Ah, la persona que reza puede cambiar al mundo entero.
Okay. All right. See if anybody has any comments or anything to say
Bueno,
about this.
vamos a preguntas. Ah, ah, ay, veo saludos. La pregunta del millón, Ravi. ¿Cuál será, Elisheva? A ver. perdón. ¿Cómo va la votación de Israel? Ah, esa es la pregunta. Ok. Bueno, no veo preguntas sobre el Shur.
¿Cómo va la votación in Israel? How did it go? She's saying, how did the elections go?
Ajá. How are they coming up?
It seemed, according to what everybody says, the right wing party could form, should be able to form a government. They won, and they should be able to form a government. That's what it appears.
Lo que parece ser es que ya que la ala derecha ganó, o pueda formar un gobierno con la
Right,
gente religiosa en gobierno.
right. No, right. Now, it still it can't happen so easy. It won't happen so easy. So whatever. It's never
Pero
happened.
no puede suceder esto tan fácil, nunca ha sucedido. Así es de que sigamos rezando.
Okay.
I'm praying.
All right. If there's no more question, nobody has questions, we'll stop the class.
Bueno, yo
Mm.
tengo una pregunta.
You have a
Entonces,
question.
esa evidencia que dicen los científicos que hay una relación entre el mono y el humano es exactamente al revés. El humano llegó a ser mono, no el mono llegó a ser humano, right? ¿Sí?
Yeah, right. Interesting point.
Sí. Es interesante, sí. ¿No hay preguntas sobre el Shur?
Okay, but we're gonna stop it. We'll stop here for now. Maybe the.
Oh,
All right. Thank you for the translations. Gracias, traducir.
gracias, Ra, por enseñar.
Okay, shalom a todos.
Shalom.